Are we live? I think we are. I don't see... Whoops. Let me get... No. Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. In this episode... Hey, welcome to an episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Really special beer tonight. Another Firestone Walker beer, another beer I got on Tavor. This is Helldorado. 2016 vintage. It's a blonde barley wine. Pretty strong, 11.8 ABV. They have a little bit of the specs on there. It says British ale yeast, so I wonder if they're going for a British style barley wine and not an American style. I don't know if I have a bottling date on this, but I mean, it does say 2016, so. And this isn't wax on the cap, it's like plastic. But yeah, I got this on Tavor. How much was it again? I think it was like 15 bucks. 16.99 for this bottle. So hopefully it's worth it. So let's get started here. Definitely a blonde. I mean, if you just saw a picture of the beer, would you think this is a barley wine? Probably not. You think maybe it's like a IPA because it's, you know, kind of an orange color. It looks dark. It looks almost brown on camera, but it's not. It's more of like a apricot or maybe like a flame orange. There's definitely, well, there's a little bit of haze to it. And it did have, like, you know, almost all my beers, I pour them so there's a thumb width of foam. And, you know, either it fizzles or it doesn't. I top this off a little. That's why you're not seeing any foam on there. Yeah, definitely the classic barley wine aroma. Just lots of a fruity, malty note. Orange marmalade. I would say that for sure. Kind of a general confectionery sweetness, a little bit of caramel or toffee, treacle, I think they call it. I would not say chocolate. I would not say, you know, it's not especially hoppy either. So I think they are going for a British barley wine, not American barley wine, because Americans tend to be like, you know, basically they're kind of hard to differentiate between a barley wine and an imperial IPA. But yeah. Just a very sweet smelling beer. There's definitely an oxidation character here, like that little bit of that yellow lollipop, but it's not like distracting or, you know, I'm not getting cardboard on this one. Like a sherry kind of aroma, which actually, if you read the BJCP specs, it says that's, you know, that sherry oxidation character is actually acceptable, you know, as long as it's not like overpowering or doesn't stink or anything like that. So yeah, it's a sweet, kind of fruity, malty smelling beer. I do not smell alcohol at all. 11.8, you would think I'd get like a little bit of it. I mean, maybe the alcohol is just blending with the natural big malty, big fruity character there, but yeah, I mean, well, maybe it counts for like a little bit of like I said, kind of like a caramel or butterscotch character. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell what's what, but you know. All right, well, let's dive in here. Cheers. Well, it tastes a little bit more American than it smells. So I was expecting off the aroma here for this to be like a J.W. Lee style. And I have a feeling like this is probably an Americanized version of J.W. Lee's or maybe Thomas Hardy's or something like that. There is like a British kind of character to it. I mean, it says right on the bottle here that they use British ale yeast. So there might be like a terroir character from the yeast on here. Yeah, so I'm getting definitely an orange marmalade. Little bit of caramel. It's not as sweet, or it's not as like sugary or confectionery. You know, I was expecting this to be like very syrupy tasting, going off the aroma. but it's not nearly as sweet as it smells, and which actually is a little bit of a bummer because the one thing I like about barley wines, I only have them like a beer like this maybe once or twice a year. Very usually for special occasions or just it's also the fact that they're very expensive beers and they're not super easy and cheap to get. So it's only worth having once or twice a year. I will say it's much hoppier tasting than it is smelling. There is like kind of like a little bit like an earthy or floral hop flavor to it. The bitterness is, it's not a dank bitterness. It's not like certainly not like a West Coast IPA. No citrus on here. It's just just kind of a natural earthy floral. Like if you've ever actually smelled fresh hops, like even if it's pellets or the actual hop cone, like the way that they smell is kind of how this tastes. But like the hop, actually I would say the hop flavor and the hop bitterness on here is, because it's a barley wine, you would think it would be, rather intense. But I mean, again, this bottle, it's 4 years old. So hops tend to fade, and they're usually one of the first ingredients to fade. So yeah, the hops have definitely faded on this one. But I will say there's enough balance here. This is not a sticky, syrupy, cloying mess. Like I said, I thought it was going to be like way sweeter than it is. In fact, this is... I might not even consider this a barley wine. To me, this is almost like a English strong ale. Like a Sam Smith's... Well, it's not a Christmas beer. I think it's called Happy New Year. And... oh, wait, that's... Yeah, to me, it's more like almost like an English strong ale. If that makes any sense. Yeah, nice kind of fruity flavor on there. Little bit of like a rich bready malt flavor on here. I want to see. I mean, I have a feeling Untapped consider this a barley wine, but just in case, I mean, I think this could be. Yeah, well, they call it American barley wine. I would not consider this an American barley wine. I mean, just because it's literally an American barley wine. It's not an American barley wine style. I think it's more like an English barley wine style. In fact, you know what? I've only been going 8 minutes. Let me bring up the specs real quick here. Let's see. English barley wine. Where is it? Here it is. 17D. I just want to go to overall impression. A showcase of multi-richness and complex, intense flavors, chewy and rich in body with warming alcohol and a pleasant fruity or hoppy interest. When aged, it can take on port-like flavors, a wintertime sipper. Flavor, strong, intense, complex, multi-flavor, yeah. Some oxidative or vinous flavors. Moderate to fairly high fruitiness, yep. Often with a dark or dried fruit. Let me go to comparison. Although often a hoppy beer, the English barley wine places less emphasis on hop character than the American barley wine and features English hops. English versions can be darker, maltier, fruitier, and feature richer specialty malt flavors than American barley wines. Has some overlap British old ale on the lower end, but generally does not have the vinous qualities of age. Rather, it tends to display the mature, elegant signs of age. Does it say the... No, they don't say the hops on here. The only clue I have is it just says British ale yeast. And let me look at... British Strong Ale, which is 17A, what they do for comparison. Significant overlap in gravity with old ales, but not having a stale or aged character. A wide range of interpretations is possible. Should not be as rich or strong as an English barley wine. Stronger than the strong everyday brews. More specialty malt and or sugar than American strong ales. And let me bring up American barley wine, which I think is a 22C. Bring up the comparison. The American version of the barley wine tends to have a greater emphasis on hop bitterness, flavor, and aroma than the English barley wine, and often features American hop varieties, typically paler than the darker English barley wines and lacking in the deeper malt flavors, but darker than the golden English barley wines. Differs from a double IPA in that hops are not extreme, the malt is more forward, and the body is fuller and often richer. An American barley wine typically has more residual sweetness than a double IPA, which affects the overall drinking, sipping versus drinking. So yeah, I mean, if I really studied it, I think that this probably would be either a British strong ale or English barley wine. You got something to say? Hey. People want to know what you think. Oh, now you're shutting up. Logan's on the desk. It's funny because he's like right underneath the camera, but you can't see him. So anyway, back to the beer. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. And I will say, like, I am getting some warming in the throat, so I mean that does signify, you know, a pretty strong alcohol presence. But, you know, for 11.8, wow, this is like it's not a sipper. You know, I went into this thinking I was going to be, you know, just tiny little sips at a time, but yeah, this is. I mean, it's not exactly a crushable beer. I would, if somebody dared me or paid me, I would chug this bottle, but I'm not gonna do that. Get off the printer, dude. All right, so let's wrap this up. As far as rating, you know, let me top this off here. I am gonna kill this whole 22 by myself, so you guys can see the color. Yeah, it's like a gold. Whoa, and you can see it does foam up. Probably hear it, but it fizzles away. I mean, it's almost like a sour or something, like how quick that fizzles away. Since I don't know the ingredients on this, it's hard to peg it to a style, but just going off taste, I'm thinking I would actually consider this like a British strong ale, although I think the British strong ale, let me bring it back. What was the gravity or the ABV on is 5.5 to 8, and English barley wine I think is like 8 and up. The cats. Yeah, 8 to 12. Commercial examples: Adnams Tallyho, Burton Bridge, Thomas Sykes Old Ale, Coniston No. 9 barley wine, Fuller's Golden Pride, J.W. Lee's Vintage Harvest Ale, which I really like. I haven't had that in a long time. Robinson's Old Tom. So as far as score on this one, it's good. It's not great. I mean, maybe it was great when it was fresh. And this is really interesting because it's a 2016. This isn't like from, you know, my personal stash or, you know, something that I got in a trade or something. Like this was from Tavor. And I can't imagine it was sitting in Tavor's warehouse for 4 years. I don't think they've even been around for that long. So I'd be curious to see where they got it, you know, how it was handled. I mean, to me, it doesn't taste like heat damage or anything. It just, I just say like it's definitely, most likely lost a lot of flavor. I mean, if we had a 2020 vintage side by side, we could tell. But you know, yeah, I'm liking this, but I'm not loving it. I think this is a solid like 4.0, maybe even 3.75. Actually, yeah, I think this might be a sub 4 beer. You know, it's not, you would think like it'd be like switcher. I was going to say sweeter and richer, and I combined the two, so switcher. Yeah, sweeter, richer. I will say like it's not, you know, super cardboardy. You know, it is kind of more sherry or port kind of flavor. It tastes good. It just doesn't taste like, I thought this was going to be like decadent. And it's nice that the alcohol is smooth on there, but I don't know. And it also depends what I'm scoring this as. But I mean, I'm going to say 17D English barley wine. Yeah, I think it's high 30s, low 40s. But for me personally, well, I mean, yeah, 3.75 or 4.0. By the way, if you're not following me on Untapped, there's a link in the description below. Just or go on there. I'm at Chad Poland's, all one word on there. And what are you guys doing? All right, I'm going super long. If you watch all the way to the end, you are awesome. Again, sign up for Tavor below using my link. You're gonna get $10 off your first purchase. Oh, by the way, thanks to James, who used my referral code recently. So thanks, man. You're awesome. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you Well, actually, my next crate comes in probably on Monday, so we'll do a video on that. All right, thanks for watching.